You believe the past holds you prisoner, but in truth, it is you who keeps the past alive. Every memory, every scar, every loop of thought clings to your frequency like chains of smoke, and you breathe them in without even noticing. The quantum field does not hold you here. It has always held a flame that waits for one purpose only, to erase what no longer belongs. This fire does not burn flesh. It burns timelines. It does not scorch the body. It severs the illusions of identity that you have mistaken for truth. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine it. The structures of your old life collapsing into sparks, the false selves screaming as they dissolve into silence. At first, you fear this fire because it feels like death. But it is not death. It is awakening. It is the purification that reveals what was hidden behind all masks. When the fire has finished, there is only one thing left standing, the self that has been waiting for you all along, the one that is not chained to memory, not chained to time, not chained to fear. The most dangerous prison is the one you cannot see. Right now, most people are convinced they are moving forward in life. They wake up, they check their phone, they go through their routines, they chase goals, they try to change habits. From the surface, it looks like progress. But underneath, nothing has shifted. Neuroscience shows us a brutal fact. Over 90% of the thoughts you think today are the same as the ones you thought yesterday. Which means most of your so-called new days are not new at all. They are recycled copies of the day before. You may change details, the clothes you wear, the faces you see, the conversations you have. But the core frequency remains exactly the same, and because of that, the quantum field has no choice but to mirror it back to you. The universe doesn't punish or reward. It only responds. If your mind keeps repeating the same emotional patterns, the field reflects them into your relationships, your work, your health, your entire existence. That is why the same type of person keeps showing up in your life. That is why the same financial struggles repeat. That is why even when you move to a new place, change jobs, or try to start fresh, the same problems find you again. It's not bad luck. It's not destiny. It's not even external resistance. It's the prison of repetition. This prison is invisible because it doesn't have walls. It has programming. You don't see it because you are the one feeding it. Every time you replay an old memory, you reinforce it. Every time you expect the worst because that's how it always goes, you solidify it. Every time you choose familiarity over risk, you carve the same neural pathway deeper into your brain. The brain becomes addicted to what it already knows, even if it's pain, even if it's failure. That's why so many people live the same. You're 10, 20, 30 times and call it a life. They polish the bars of their own cage and convince themselves it's freedom. They decorate the walls of the prison and call it stability. But inside, it is the same cycle, repeated endlessly. The truth is sharp but necessary. You are not trapped by life. You are trapped by your own attention. Your awareness is selecting the same patterns every single day, and by observing them, you collapse the same probability wave into form. This is not metaphysics. This is quantum mechanics. The observer effect states that reality responds to observation. But when your observation is trapped in old patterns, you don't just witness reality repeating. You manufacture it repeating. And here is the most disturbing part. The longer you remain in the loop, the stronger it gets. The familiar becomes addictive. The brain prefers predictable pain over uncertain freedom. You start to accept disappointment as just the way it is. You convince yourself you're working on change, but deep inside, you already expect to fail. That expectation becomes a command to the field, and the field obeys. Look closely at your own life. How many times have you said, "This time it will be different," only to watch it collapse back into the same outcome? How many times have you met someone new, only to realize later they carried the same energy as the last? How many times have you started fresh only to end up back where you began? This is not coincidence. This is repetition disguised as progress. This is the hidden prison, and the more you deny it, the more it consumes you. But here is the paradox. The prison is not real. The bars are not made of steel, they are made of attention. And the moment you stop feeding the loop, the walls dissolve. You now see the prison. You understand it isn't made of steel or stone, it's made of repetition, of thoughts, emotions, and choices recycled so many times that they form a loop. But here is where most people fail. They discover the loop, and yet they never escape it. The mistake is subtle, almost invisible, and it keeps millions trapped for a lifetime. The moment you recognize the cycle, the mind immediately tries to solve it. You think that by studying it more deeply, by analyzing it, by repeating affirmations, by chasing new techniques, you will somehow break free. But what you don't see is that this is the loop wearing a new disguise. You are still trapped in the same frequency, just dressed in the language of self-improvement. Neuroscience confirms it. Each time you try to fix yourself by thinking harder, you strengthen the same neural pathways you were trying to dissolve. The brain does not care if the thought is positive or negative. What matters is repetition, and repetition reinforces identity. This is why you can read dozens of books, take courses, watch endless videos, and yet wake up tomorrow with the same doubts, the same emotions, the same results. Because the loop is not broken by knowledge. The loop is broken only when your state changes, but the error goes deeper. Every time you check for progress, is it working yet? Have I changed yet? You unconsciously send a signal to the field that says, I am still the same person waiting for results. And the quantum field simply mirrors that signal back. It doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are broadcasting right now. This is the hidden trap. Awareness without transformation becomes another prison. Effort without alignment becomes fuel for the very loop you are trying to escape. And so, people spend years circling the same patterns, motivated one week, collapsing the next, inspired one month, defeated the next, searching endlessly for the secret that will set them free, not realizing that the search itself is the trap. The truth is sharp. You cannot think your way out of a prison built by thought. The more you try, the stronger the bars become. Awareness is not enough. What truly breaks the loop? Not information, not effort, not waiting. What breaks the loop is a shift of state, a complete interruption of the old frequency. There are many paths, but all of them point to the same truth. If you want to burn the old reality, you must stop feeding it. The field is waiting for you to broadcast something different. Here are the keys. Key 1. Interrupt the pattern. The loop survives because it runs automatically. The first step is to disrupt that automation. This doesn't mean reinventing your life in one day. It means sending small but deliberate shocks into the system so the brain realizes this is not the same script anymore. Wake up at a different time. Take a different route. Change the order of your morning routine. Move your body in a way you've never done. Even a simple action, like holding your breath for a count of 10 before answering your phone, breaks the unconscious rhythm. Neuroscience calls this pattern interruption. Studies show that the brain forms neural grooves, and the more you walk the same path, the deeper it becomes. But when you suddenly disrupt it, the brain has to light up new pathways. It is forced into the present moment. The quantum field responds the same way. A new observation collapses a new possibility. When you interrupt the old sequence, you tell the field, I am no longer repeating. It doesn't matter if the action feels small. A small interruption can collapse an entire timeline. Key 2. Reprogram the emotion thoughts recycle. But what locks the loop in place is emotion. Every old story is anchored in a feeling: fear, shame, frustration, disappointment. The body gets addicted to these chemicals, so even when you want to change, you unconsciously recreate the situations that will trigger the familiar emotion. This is why positive thinking rarely works. You can repeat a new affirmation 1,000 times, but if your body is still addicted to the emotion of the old self, the loop regenerates. The solution is not to run away from these emotions, it's to reprogram them, face them without letting them dominate you. Breathe into them, observe them as signals, not as truth. When you do, the brain begins wiring a new emotional response. Practices like coherence breathing, meditation, or simply sitting in silence with discomfort teach the body. We are safe in this new state. Once the body accepts safety without the old emotion, the loop loses its fuel. Without emotional charge, the past cannot regenerate. Key 3. Anchor the new identity. The prison does not survive only because of thoughts or emotions. It survives because of identity. Even when painful, the old self feels familiar, and the brain craves familiarity above all. Breaking free requires anchoring a new self, not as an idea, but as a lived reality. It begins with decision. From now on, this is who I am. But decision is not enough. You must breathe as that self, speak as that self, move as that self. Every action must be filtered through the lens of the new identity. Quantum mechanics supports this. The field mirrors your state, not your wishes. If you continue waiting for evidence, you are broadcasting the vibration of waiting. If you embody the new self now, the field must reflect it back. This is why the words, I am, are the most powerful in existence. Whatever follows them, consciously or unconsciously, anchors your state. Most people keep repeating, I am tired, I am unlucky, I am stuck, and reality obeys. Anchor something else and reality has no choice but to shift. Key 4. Ritualize the burn finally the fire. The subconscious does not change through ideas alone, it changes through ritual. The old self must not only be ignored, it must be symbolically destroyed. This is why fire has always been central to transformation. Ancient traditions didn't use fire because of superstition. They used it because ritual speaks to the subconscious, in ways logic cannot, writing down the lies of the old self and burning them, closing your eyes and imagining flames devouring your past identity, declaring out loud what no longer exists. These acts bypass the rational mind and send a direct command to the deepest layers of identity. This is finished, it will not return. And here is the truth. When you stop feeding the loop and ritualize its death, it no longer survives. The subconscious accepts the burn, and reality follows. Fire doesn't destroy, fire purifies. And when the ashes settle, only the true self remains. You've seen the prison, you've seen the error, you've seen the method. But here is the moment where you must face the question that cannot be avoided. Will you burn or will you repeat? Because the truth is this: no one escapes by accident. Transformation doesn't happen because time passes. It happens because a choice is made, and this choice is not comfortable. It is fire. The old self will not step aside politely. It will fight. It will whisper that you should wait until you are ready. It will convince you that small steps are enough. It will promise you safety if you stay the same. But those are the words of a prison guard. Familiarity is not safety. Repetition is not life. It is slow death disguised as stability. So ask yourself now, how many times will you live the same year before you decide it is enough? How many cycles of disappointment will you endure before you let them burn? How many identities will you carry that were never yours to begin with? 3 truths must be faced. First, the old reality is not fading, it is feeding, and every day you delay, it grows stronger. Second, the fire is already here. It is not waiting for permission, it is waiting for your surrender. Third, if you refuse to step into the flame, nothing changes. Tomorrow will be yesterday disguised. Listen carefully. The quantum field doesn't care about your intentions. It responds only to your frequency. And right now, you are broadcasting one of two signals. I am the old self, repeating, or I am the new self, burning. There is no middle ground. This is the edge. This is the line drawn in fire, and once you cross it, there is no return. But why would you return to ashes? Right now, in this very moment, something irreversible is happening. You may not see it with your eyes, but your body knows. Your nervous system knows. The field knows. The old reality is trembling because the fire has already started. You believed transformation was something far away, something waiting for the right time, the right circumstances, the right opportunity. But that was the illusion of the old self, convincing you that freedom was always in the future. The truth is harder, sharper, undeniable. Transformation only happens in the now, and the now is happening as you hear these words. Think about it. If you were still fully inside the loop, you wouldn't even be here. You wouldn't have been drawn to this message. You wouldn't have the awareness to hear it. The fact that your attention is here means the fire already reached you. The field has already started collapsing the timeline you thought you couldn't escape. That isn't coincidence. The quantum field does not waste energy on coincidence. It aligns frequencies. And you are aligned right now. Feel your body. Notice the tension rising in your chest. Notice the breath becoming shorter. Notice the pulse increasing. That's not fear. That's biology preparing for a death. Not the death of your body, but the death of the self that has been looping for years. The system is bracing for impact because it knows the old version of you cannot walk through this fire. This is why the resistance is stronger than ever. Old memories start resurfacing. Old emotions feel heavier. You might feel exhaustion, confusion, even doubt. But understand this clearly. Resistance is proof that the loop is dissolving. The prison always fights the hardest in its final moments. The fact that you are feeling this means the collapse has already begun. And here's what most people miss. The burn doesn't start when you decide. The burn starts the moment you stop feeding the old self. Even listening to this message, even holding these words in your awareness is enough to starve the loop. Right now, as you hear this, the probability of your old reality is weakening. The fire doesn't wait for tomorrow. It consumes in the present. Close your eyes if you can. Visualize it. Flames devouring the masks you no longer want to wear. Doubts screaming as they turn to smoke. Habits collapsing into glowing embers. The false identities that chained you, gone. All of it burning, all of it dissolving, while the real you stands untouched in the center of the fire. The one who has always been waiting beneath the illusions. This is not imagination. This is physics. The observer effect states that your observation collapses possibility into reality, and right now, by observing yourself as burning the old self, you are collapsing a new probability, one where the loop no longer exists. That is why you can feel the shift inside your chest. It's not just emotion. It's the body aligning with the frequency of the new identity. The transformation is not coming. It is happening. Every second you remain here, every breath you take, inside this awareness, burns the old timeline deeper into ash. You are already stepping across the threshold. You are not preparing. You are crossing. And once you cross, there is no return, because there is nothing left to return to. The fire is not punishment. The fire is liberation, and you are inside it now. The fire has spoken. You can already feel it. The weight of the old self is lighter, the grip of the loop weaker. The thoughts are still there, but different, almost distant. They no longer carry the same control. The emotions may still rise, but you sense the difference now. They are echoes, not chains. The prison is cracking. This is the truth most people never experience. The shift does not come with applause, with fireworks, with some dramatic event outside of you. It comes quietly, subtly, almost in secret. While the world looks the same, you know something fundamental has burned, and once it burns, it cannot be rebuilt. Ashes don't rebuild themselves, but here is the danger. Many will walk away at this moment. They will feel the fire, sense the change, and then let it fade back into routine. They will rebuild the prison with their own hands, brick by brick, memory by memory, until the loop feels safe again. And when that happens, they convince themselves the fire was only imagination. Do not make that mistake. This is the line between those who transform and those who return to the cycle. The way you make sure the fire holds is through declaration, not to me, not to anyone else, to the field, to reality itself. This is why ritual matters. Ritual turns an invisible shift into an anchored truth. So I ask you now, no, I challenge you, declare it. In the comments, write one word, burned. Do not underestimate this. That word is not a symbol for others. It is a command to the field, a signal that the old self has been consumed. It doesn't matter if no one else sees it. What matters is that the quantum field does. You have collapsed a probability wave simply by listening. But by writing, you anchor it. By acting, you seal it. Understand this. You are not leaving this video the same person who entered. The version of you that pressed play is ash. And if you doubt that, look at yourself right now. Even the doubt feels different. The fire has touched it, and this is not the end. This is initiation. Burning the old is only the beginning. What comes next is creation, the building of the self that was always waiting under the smoke. That is the stage most never reach. They are willing to talk about destruction, but not to step into creation. But you are already here. And the next steps, waiting. In the next video, you will not only learn how to step into the new self, you will embody it. You will feel the architecture of reality bending with you instead of against you. You will understand how to move in coherence with the field instead of repeating the old frequencies. That is the next initiation. So seal this moment now. Write your word. Burn the old self fully. Anchor the flame. And when you are ready, step into the next fire, the fire of creation. The loop is finished. The old reality is burned, and your new self is waiting.